The Bell Centre in Montreal was electric that night, the crowd stamping their feet, chanting, waving Canadian flags that rippled under the bright lights. The entire arena seemed alive, buzzing like a storm about to break. The spotlight cut through the haze, shining down on Dominic Lefebvre, the 25-year-old boxing prodigy who had just demolished his latest opponent in brutal fashion. His gloves still carried the sweat of victory, and his chest rose with arrogant confidence as he paraded around the ring. Every movement dripped with swagger, every breath a declaration that he owned the city. He leaned back against the ropes, grinning, soaking in the adoration of his people as cameras zoomed in, capturing his smirks, his cocky strides, and the way he raised his arms like a king crowned before his subjects. Then, with a microphone in hand, Dominic's voice boomed through the speakers. Montreal. You see that? Another one down. They said this guy was experienced, they said he could handle me. But he's lying on the floor like the rest of them. I told you, boxing belongs to the young lions, not the old dogs. The crowd erupted, stomping so hard the floor trembled. They roared his name, chanting in rhythm, the sound rolling through the arena like thunder. Dominic grinned wider, relishing every second, knowing he owned the night. But then his expression shifted, his eyes narrowing as he glanced toward the VIP section. The cameras followed his gaze, and the crowd's energy shifted instantly. Sitting quietly, arms folded, head tilted with that cold intensity, was Jason Statham. He wasn't clapping, wasn't shouting, just watching. Watching with a stillness that carried more weight than any word. The audience exploded at the sight, screaming Jason's name, pointing, waving their phones, flashlights blinking like stars in the dark. Dominic smirked, leaning over the ropes as if addressing him directly. His voice dripped with mockery. Well. Look who decided to show up tonight, Dominic said into the mic, Jason Statham. The movie tough guy. The action star who beats up bad guys on a screen. Tell me, Jason, when was the last time you fought someone who wasn't following a script? When was the last time you bled in the ring with real fighters? Or are you too old now? Too slow? The arena split in half the crowd booing, half cheering. Jason remained still, his eyes fixed, saying nothing. The silence from him only amplified the tension. Dominic laughed, enjoying the spotlight, feeding on the chaos. What's the matter, Jason? Cat got your tongue? You're supposed to be this big tough guy, but you sit there, hiding in the dark, letting your glory days slip away. Let me tell you something, this is my ring, my city, my era. Montreal doesn't need washed-up actors pretending to fight. If you've got guts, old man, step in here. Or stay seated and keep pretending you're still relevant. Jason's jaw clenched ever so slightly, a flicker of steel in his expression. The crowd grew louder, chants clashing, Dominic's name battling against Jason's. Dominic leaned even closer to the ropes, pointing a finger directly at him. Come on, Grandpa. You can walk the red carpet, but can you walk into this ring? Or are you afraid this young lion will tear you apart in front of the whole world? That was the final straw. Jason rose slowly from his seat, every muscle deliberate, every movement controlled. The crowd went insane, people leaping to their feet, some screaming with excitement, others recording every second on their phones. He didn't rush, didn't posture. He walked down the aisle with that deliberate calm, every step like a drumbeat of inevitability. The closer he came, the more Dominic's grin flickered, the arrogance masking a pulse of nerves. Jason climbed onto the apron, stepped through the ropes, and stood face to face with the young champion. He didn't grab the mic, didn't shout. He simply stood there, his eyes locked on Dominic, cold as sharpened steel. Dominic smirked again, trying to cover his unease with more bravado. Oh, so the old man found his courage. Fine then. Montreal, you want it? Let's make it happen. Exhibition match. Right here. Right now. The referee and promoters hesitated, unsure, but the atmosphere inside the Bell Center was overwhelming. The crowd was chanting for it, demanding it, their voices rising in waves. Gloves were brought out. Jason slipped them on with quiet efficiency, his face unreadable, while Dominic bounced on his toes, grinning as though he already had victory in his pocket. The bell rang. Dominic exploded forward instantly, fists snapping out with youthful speed, combinations cutting the air. The crowd roared at his aggression, but Jason didn't panic. He slipped, rolled, blocked, every movement tight, precise, economical. He wasted no motion. Dominic's punches hit nothing but gloves, forearms, and empty air. Jason's eyes never blinked, never strayed, cold, calculating, dissecting. Then, snap, a jab from Jason cracked Dominic's nose. The sharp sound silenced the crowd for a second. Dominic stumbled back, eyes wide with shock, tasting blood for the first time in the fight. The force rattled him. Enraged, Dominic charged again, throwing hooks wild and heavy, desperate to overwhelm. Jason stepped aside, burying a right hand into his ribs. The thud echoed across the arena. Dominic winced, his breath caught, pain flooding through his chest. Jason leaned in close, his voice low and sharp. Hands too low. Snap. A jab stung Dominic's face. Feet too wide. Thud. Another body shot dug deep. You're not ready, kid. The crowd gasped with every word, every strike. The second round was worse. Dominic tried to hide the pain with bravado, bouncing, raising his hands, but his punches grew sloppier. Sweat dripped down his face, his breathing grew heavier. Jason dismantled him piece by piece, counters snapping his head back, hooks digging into his body, a masterclass in control. The same crowd that had once roared Dominic's name now thundered Jason's, their chants shaking the rafters. Finally, Dominic, desperate and broken, swung a wild haymaker, putting everything he had left into the punch. Jason slipped with effortless grace, pivoted, and unleashed a crushing right cross. It landed flush on Dominic's jaw. The sound cracked like a gunshot across the arena. Dominic's body froze, then crumpled, collapsing onto the canvas in a heap. The referee knelt, starting the count, but it was clear, he wasn't getting up. The young Phenom lay dazed, his mouthguard hanging loose, the arrogance stripped clean from his face. Jason stood above him, calm as ever. No taunts, no celebration. He removed his gloves, dropped them on the mat, and spoke quietly, his words caught by the microphones. Respect. That's the difference. Then he turned, walking out of the ring with the same calm he had walked in, leaving the crowd in an explosion of cheers so loud it felt like the roof might come down. That night, the headlines across Canada screamed the same message. Hollywood's silent warrior humiliates Montreal's Phenom, Jason Statham stuns boxing world.